Okay. Welcome back to another episode of Between Sets and Snacks. Today we have two guests on the show. First one is Cameron Wortham. He is a physician assistant, works in internal medicine. Cameron competed in NPC Men's Physique, where he took third overall. He is also modeled for lifestyle and fitness brands. He is NASM certified as a personal trainer. He has majored in exercise phys, family and child sciences, where he researched the effects of resistance training on fat oxidation. And he also has his master's in physician's assistant studies. And Zucker is a guy who works out a lot. So, welcome guys. Thank you for being on the show today. I am really excited to see where this one goes.
Thank you guys. Wow. You know, Zucker, don't let him get you down, all right? You know, you're just as valuable as anyone. Okay. But I do want to ask you guys right off the jump the most important question for both of you. What is your favorite snack?
Recently, fucking beef jerky. I feel like I keep spending so much money on beef jerky.
Do you have a flavor you prefer, or is it just any you can get your hands on?
Yeah, whatever's there and cheap.
Fair enough. Do love some beef jerky.
Mm-hmm.
Costco has some great beef jerky. I've been stocking up on it.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm going tomorrow.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Cam, what about you?
I think my go-to's a bagel and a protein shake if I'm hungry.
Is that are we calling that a snack? It sounds like a whole meal, brother.
Are we talking like a white bagel?
A white
Not
bagel?
even toasted.
What other?
Not toasted, no cream cheese?
No, I toast it and put some butter on it. It's, I'm not a,
Yeah.
I also cut it.
Yeah.
Biting it.
He's not a monster. What do you got? Yeah. Oh my goodness. Have you guys ever seen someone
Cam,
do that?
I think you may have set the record for the absolute worst snack on the show.
I'm not a snacky guy. If I snack, I'll go through a whole box or bag of whatever, and so I just have to eat a meal. And
Okay, but let's talk about that. Let's dive into the sickness for a second.
No, that's a thing.
What is the thing that you will eat all of?
anything.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So, Kenny,
A whole bag of bagels.
You mentioned Costco.
It's been done.
The other day I got one of those, like, you know, the dehydrated mangoes? They have, like, the family size bag.
Because I eat unhealthy things.
Thank you.
I do.
Well, they have, like, a bunch of sugar on them, too. But
Okay.
I got, like, the family size bag, and I ate it in, like, less than 2 days. And then realized, looking at the bag, that I'd eaten almost 4,000 calories of dehydrated mangoes in 2 days.
You're just like, my poop's gonna look
Just
weird
fucking
bulking
tomorrow.
Yeah, so I get you on that, Cameron.
There's got to be a bunch of fiber in that.
Yeah, my shits were so.
Like, they were solid. I bet they were liquid. Shoot, man.
No.
Okay, so I was saying before we started how I'm really gonna enjoy how we get the perspective of someone who is a little bit more classically educated and someone who has kind of just figured shit out as he's gone along, like through online or whatever dark sources that you have, Zucker.
Yeah.
So we'll have that contrast going on. Charlie, thanks for making a guest appearance.
Chill.
Yeah, Kenny, you didn't read off Charlie's qualifications. But anyway, Cameron,
Great liquor.
Cameron, I want to start with you. You know, obviously you're a PA, which is a whole ass adult job in and of itself. How do you balance that and like your own personal fitness? Is there like a give and take sort of thing? Is there like a routine that works for you? What's that process like?
So it's been interesting. For the longest time, I was a 6-day-a-week gym goer. and then rest day was Sunday, and that's just what I preferred to do, and kind of spread the volume of the workouts out as such. But with the schedule that I have, I've gone down to 4 days a week, and it's just a shift in mindset of planning those workouts. And then as far as getting to the gym, it's really a mix of two things. It's just prioritizing it over other things, and then so much caffeine.
I can only imagine. Oh.
Well, how many hours a week are you working for PA? I'm sure it depends on if you're on call or not.
Yeah, it ranges really from 40 to 70 hours.
Dear God.
And then I'm sure the hours are also variable as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Some days I'll be doing a shift like this where it's 12 to 12, and other times I do 7 to 7. Sometimes I don't have to come into the hospital until the afternoon because I can put in orders from home and then come in and see the patients, admit them there. But yeah, it's all.
So it sounds like it's hard to get any type of routine down as far as, I guess, anything.
Yeah, that's also been interesting because I think routine, at least for me, has kind of changed what it means. And so I've kind of broken it down to the things that matter. Am I getting enough food? Am I sleeping enough? And am I training hard enough? And that's really the only routine that I try to stick to. And then just fit it around wherever, like jigsaw style with my schedule.
Interesting. Zucker, what about you? I mean, you know, as Kenny said, you're well, first of all, let's address your biggest shit. So, you know, let's give you some credit as well. But like, do you have your own routine that you sort of work on? Because you obviously you work as well, and do you have your set days sort of thing? What's that like for you?
Yeah, definitely an easier schedule than Cameron's by far. Yeah, I mean, I bartend, so working nights makes it pretty easy to, I can get up at 11 and eat and then go to the gym at noon. So pretty easy to, as long as you have the desire to go, like it's not too hard.
When you started working out, was there like a place you went to where you got information on like what exercises you wanted to do? Like, was social media like something that influenced you sort of way?
When I started working out, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. So it was just going in and throwing shit around. But honestly, I think my go-to right now is Renaissance periodization, or Dr. Mike Israetel. Mm-hmm. He's really good. His information's all super up to date and on point. And then a lot of my stuff early on, Cameron actually taught me when we were working out. Yeah, and Kenny. Yeah.
Well,
although Kenny's not a good source.
I would rather learn from Cam
just genetics.
If I had the choice between the two. But Cam, you obviously have the background in fitness and health. Do you often find social media is like a pro or like a deterrent when it comes to learning how to work out, things like that? Because obviously, you model too, so like social media obviously a thing there. Like, what's the correlation with that?
I may not be the best person to ask this question. I don't have any social media. I haven't had any social media in years and years, at least since I was a freshman in college. Because of probably what you're getting at, which is just these really unattainable physiques and and gimmicky programs that they're like, oh, if you want to look like me, you gotta drink raw eggs through a swirly straw. That's how I do it. That's how I got abs. And I'm like, yeah. And probably some exogenous hormones too, and really hard work, but it's not the swirly straw, and you don't always look like that. So, but I got off of social media because I was kind of tired of seeing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we've all seen Rocky drinking eggs. I mean, it's got to be
swirly straw though. He could have won the Olympia.
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. Oh man.
So, I know that we're planning on talking about it a little bit later, but I feel like it's relevant now. Just because you were talking about your schedule, Cam, there is so much emphasis nowadays on recovery when it comes to working out. And me now, because I've worked as a coach, where like we delve into like habit tracking and the way that you're sleeping, your sleep tracking. How have you seen your lack of routine, I guess, even though you have a routine, how have you seen like the chaos of your schedule affect working out, affect your drive, affect your energy levels? Talk to me a little bit more about the way that you're able to recover from your workouts with your chaotic schedule.
I mean, ultimately all recovery kind of comes down to the two main things that I mentioned earlier, being making sure you're eating enough food, that's good quality food, and sleeping enough. And the food is never a problem for me. I'll just pack all my food for the day. I get cranky if I don't eat, so that's important for me and my patients to make sure I'm well fed. And,
your patient just like, someone get this guy a bagel, please.
And a protein shake.
And a protein shake.
But sleep definitely takes a hit, and mainly because I don't have a normal sleep schedule of going to bed at the same time. I try to do the same thing each night, so it's relatively similar. But I really have to be cognizant of, like on a night like tonight or last night or tomorrow night, where I'll get off at 12:30, get home at 1 o'clock. I'm wide awake still. It's hard not to watch TV for 2 or 3 hours. I just have to go to sleep, and just making sure I'm getting between 7 and 8 hours. And so, kind of going back to that jigsaw analogy earlier, just like making sure you have 24 hours in the day, right? I'm at work for X amount of time. I'm going to work out for an hour and a half. I have to sleep X amount of time. That leaves me with this much time to do whatever I want with. Usually I just stare at a wall and eat a bagel. But no, I get sucked into TV pretty easily. So just making sure that I'm really regimented with making myself go to sleep, even if it's something like taking a Benadryl to really just knock me on my butt and put me to sleep.
Yeah, that's I wanted to ask about that really quick, like, because I also like have trouble sleeping just in general. Kenny knows this about me. Like, do you like, you know, people?
Yeah, you have horrible sleep hygiene, though.
That's fair. It's fair enough, but
you put no effort into changing it either.
Yeah, I do. I started reading before bed. It always knocks me out. Anyway, but my question is,
that's good. That's good, because you used to stare at your phone like this until 3 a.m.
She's putting me on blast right now.
100%.
Yeah. But do you guys have you guys heard about, like, you know, people taking things to help them sleep? Like, I don't know, what is it, like melatonin and things like that? Like, you guys have any experience with that? Like, does it actually work, or is that bullshit?
So there are mechanisms that have shown why melatonin works. It's just a matter of how sensitive you are to it, and it is kickstarting that pathway actually important for sleep. It works for some people, it doesn't work for other people.
I've seen something that apparently a lot of melatonin is like dosed improperly, whether it's way too much.
Most people overdo it.
Yeah, and then it doesn't work as well.
So it's interesting. What'd you say?
Max dose, like before diminishing returns, is about 10 milligrams.
Yeah.
And even that is going to be like too much.
Yeah.
Most people tend to do more because they think that they're going to get more out of it. But exactly like what you were saying is like people are going to have different like words. Sensitivities, yeah. Wow. Thank you. So some people are going to have different sensitivities to it, but most people's thought process when it comes to anything is if I take more of this, it's going to work better. But melatonin will actually almost have the opposite effect, where if you take too much, it straight up won't work at all, or it will keep you awake. Because, I mean, the goal of melatonin is to help regulate that circadian rhythm, which is why I was asking so much about what Cam's doing, because it sounds like he has no chance of getting his circadian rhythm into any type of routine because he's changing his sleep schedule all the time, which is very ironic that you have someone who's in the health field that is doing things specifically against like his health, right? So it's so interesting with all the new research coming out with like sleep and recovery and how important it is, where you still have these healthcare providers that are like hitting these 12-hour shifts of just on and off, where it's totally messing up any type of routine, and they're just like, yeah, you'll be fine.
Cam, do you think? Oh, sorry, go.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Cam?
It's a do as I say, not as I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Cam, do you think people should have more consideration for PAs like you and stop getting sick so often so you can get a regular sleep schedule? Can you just go on the record right now and just say that? But no, whenever I think about,
I'm at the hospital all the time anyway, so
that's fair.
Yeah,
whenever I think
I'm stuck here for my shift.
That's fair. Whenever I think about sleep, I always say, or you guys remember that movie Old School with like Will Ferrell and like the one scene where the guy gets shot in the neck with like that dart. And he's like, you got a freaking dart in your neck, man. And he just knocks out. I always wish there was like a commercial like version of that where I could just fucking knock myself out. Anyway, go ahead, Kenny.
That's
Benadryl. It's just not super healthy.
Yeah, that's fair. Oh, but
Chloroform.
Just jumping up a notch.
I don't know if I call that. Yeah, I don't know if that's commercial, but it's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there are so many things that you can adjust before you need to result to like blow darts to the neck. But I mean, one thing that you can easily change is your sleep environment, right? So all things that are in your environment that you can alter, such as blackout curtains, such as the temperature of your room, such as I mean, you can get a sleep mask, you can get a sound machine, like all the things you can put in place in order for not just your sleep to be good, but like make sure that your pre-sleep ritual is good as well. So Are you putting screens away a certain amount of time before you're trying to wind down? Are you doing it around the same time every night? And then if you are going to supplement, make sure that you are supplementing with the right dosage. Make sure that you're supplementing around the same time every night, whether it be melatonin, whether it be magnesium, which I know a lot of people use because it's good to help relax the muscles. So consistency, just like in everything else, is what's going to be the key. And it's teaching your brain, this is the time that we go to sleep. This is when we're winding down, and this is when we're going to sleep. And then eventually your brain's going to be like, oh, shit, okay, let's do this.
Just quick point on something you said to tie 2 points together. You mentioned magnesium, and then earlier you mentioned not taking too much. Magnesium is one of those supplements that you especially don't want to take too much of. We give patients magnesium before they have colonoscopies to clear them out completely.
Hell yeah.
If you take too much, you will
Clear out.
clear out. Be careful.
Hell yeah.
Big herd.
Now we're talking.
Careful with the magnesium.
Because it does relax muscles, but it relaxes.
Joey's like, we're killing two birds with one stone.
Yeah. A little backed up every now and then, but it's okay. But switching subject, Cam, I want to ask you. You know, as Kenny said, you participated in these competitions. How did you get started in that? What was the thought process behind that? You're like, well, you know, PA is all right, but I need to do this now.
He's like, I'm already bigger than everybody in this room right now, so might as well compete.
It was. I'm just very goal oriented, and so when I was younger, just having a goal of competing was some sort of extrinsic motivation to get me to diet longer than I normally would, and just see what I could do with my body. I think it's interesting with how far you can push yourself mentally if you have something for an end goal, whether that's in your own mind or some outside resource. So yeah, it was not anything other than I just wanted to do that, and so I did it.
How long did you train for that? I mean, obviously you've worked out for a long time, but how many months did you dedicate to specifically training for that competition?
It was about a year that I knew. A year before the competition, I knew I was going to do it. And so started dieting probably 4 or 5 months out. And it gets rough towards the end there. But the first half is just normal training. You just have a little bit of extra fun at the end of it.
Wow. Zucker, have you ever thought about that, going into these competitions?
I have. I think it would take some serious dieting.
Yeah.
I'm fairly lean right now, but I'm like 205 right now. I'd probably have to get down to like 185, maybe 190, which would be like I'm already pretty cut down from where I was, because I was 230 at my peak. So,
dude,
yeah.
the pictures that you sent, your quads look stupid.
Yeah, that was a cool one. Thank you.
Stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I could probably get there, but I don't know. I've never dieted that far down.
I feel like those competitions. I'm sorry. I was gonna go down the bad. I was gonna say I feel like those competitions are all about like symmetry, and Zucker doesn't have a chest.
Excuse me. I have a
no.
He's right here.
He's got a chest now, but it's funny because I've always had a chest, and Zucker works so freaking hard at growing his chest. But it's just straight up that his back is just so massive that it looks like he has no chest. But no, that the last three pictures that you sent, your chest looked freaking big, dude.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, definitely put a lot of work into it. That's actually something I'd say is a good tip is just like if you have a weak point, just make it a priority, not in like in like the way that you work out. So like Mondays, I know Mondays is always chest for everybody, but like it is for me specifically because chest is it's a weak point, so I want to hit it while I'm fresh. And I do the same thing with like my exercises in my workouts. Chest is going to be first before anything, so that I'm hitting it fresh. I can hit it as hard as possible.
Yeah, so I mean, what Arnold Schwarzenegger would do is whenever he thought that there was something that was lacking, he would like specifically wear an outfit that would show off his worst features, and it would like make him train that specific part harder. So
that's I've heard that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what if like he didn't have like big glutes or something? He just walk around bottomless.
Correct.
Assless chaps.
Correct.
Unbelievable.
Just G-stringing it up.
Yeah, until he got the striations.
Yeah. But Cam, I want to ask you. So like, obviously your schedule is depending on your job. Do you like? How do you craft your own workouts? Like, do you like just like? Because me, like, I just go on like Google and I just like, what's a good exercise plan for like arms and things like that. Like, what is your process when it comes to picking whatever exercises you're doing? Because I don't think you're competing anymore, so it's just for your own personal preference. Like, what exercises do you pick?
A lot, like Jordan was saying, of finding the muscle groups that I want to bring up in a specific amount of time, whatever little workout block I'm doing at that point, and prioritizing it. One thing that I've noticed, and this may be a little bit off of what you're saying, but a lot of times people, myself included, will do something like a chest day and blast your chest with 3 or 4 exercises, 3 or 4 sets each, and that's just so unnecessary. You're just pushing weight at a certain point. Like I think a lot of people would be surprised with how little you can do if you're pushing hard and pushing a lot of weight, and still progress significantly. I within the last year, I've probably cut my volume down in half at least, and I've seen the most progress that I've seen, going back to what Kenny was getting onto us about recovering. I think we're just able to recover so much better from that, and when you are working out a certain muscle group, chest for example, again, you can hit how many exercises can you do in a row? Like actual question to y'all, how many different exercises do you feel like you can give your all to in a row after you've gone all out or close to all out on a bench press?
For one muscle group?
Yeah, just for chest per se.
Yeah, I mean 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, 3 max, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if I get past even the third one, I'm probably pushing 80% of what I could fresh, maybe. So
now let me ask you, before you get too deep into this, are you speaking on the realm of like hypertrophy, or are you speaking on all different cycles?
What do you mean all different cycles?
let's say, as opposed to like strength or what?
Yeah, as opposed to strength, as opposed to power, as opposed to like muscular endurance.
Yeah, good question. My training is tailored heavily toward hypertrophy, and I think a good
Mm.
way to gauge hypertrophy is strength progression over time. Um, and then I've also been uh, trying to train a lot for, I don't know if muscular endurance would be the right word, but just making sure that all my joints feel good. So I have been just doing really extreme ranges of motion for just about
Like
every exercise.
functionality.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with all
What,
the
what
new
was that?
research saying that uh, the stretch is one of the most hypertrophic parts of a movement. Um, the more you can
Absolutely.
stretch and the more you can move your joints through a range of motion, one, the better off your joints will be, and two, possibly you're getting more benefit out of that lift.
Yeah. Can I ask you what is that word you guys said before? Hypertrophic or whatever the fuck that was. What does that mean?
Hypertrophy is the fancy way of saying bodybuilding.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
muscle. Yeah.
the main purpose of that specific cycle is going to be mass, like gaining as much muscle mass as possible.
And I want to go back to what you said about blasting one muscle group. Like I didn't like I'm a casual, fitness guy compared to the rest of you guys. Like, can you explain why blasting too much of one muscle group, why that wouldn't be beneficial? Because I've never heard of that before. And so like whenever I go, again, I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm just like I'm going to do 5 different chest exercises and nothing has happened because I still have a fucking small ass chest.
Yeah, so I think the best way to answer that is um, kind of with a little bit of a hypothetical. Um, if I told you sprint as hard as you can for a block, you'd be able to sprint hard for a block, and you'd get a lot out of that. If I said sprint as hard as you can for 5 blocks, you're not making it 5 blocks, regardless of your intentions. Your body's just not able to keep up with that, and so um, even there's some psychological component to that also. I would believe because there's just no way you're starting off as
Did
hard.
we lose Joey?
I think so.
Kind of looks like it.
All right, he'll come back. You keep talking.
Yeah, so there's no way that you're gonna sprint as hard from the get go if you're going 5 blocks versus one. And so same thing with, and I keep using chest because it's pretty simple muscle for the most part. Like there's really one plane of motion that is gonna build a chest versus back muscles, right? So going and doing one, maybe two hard chest movements is plenty because you don't have to look 3 or 4 exercises down. You're like, oh well, I still have to do push-ups after I do X, Y, and Z. You just get that good work out of the way and get on with the next thing.
To add on to that, what I've found as well is that by decreasing my volume on a given day, I can add frequency. So instead of having one chest day a week where I'm hammering the shit out of my chest and half the exercises aren't doing much for me, I can have a chest day on Monday, do 2 exercises, and then come and do maybe a lighter chest day on Thursday or Friday and get another day where my chest is basically fresh again and be able to push hard again, as opposed to a 3rd or 4th exercise on the first day where I'm just moving weight around and can't even feel my chest anymore. So yeah, that's to add on to what Cameron was saying. I agree.
Now let me also pose this question of, wouldn't there be benefits of having those higher volume days as far as blood circulation, as far as I mean, if you're trying to get a pump and stretch any fascia that may be limiting some of your gains.
I mean, I would argue that if you're using correct
I think we might have been speaking too high term for Joey.
I would argue that if you're using correct technique and pushing yourself hard, that you can get great, movement and or blood flow and like pump. I mean, I've gotten huge fucking pumps from 4 sets. Like, you don't have to go in there and do 10, 15, 20 sets on a muscle group to get a good pump. I think as long as you're really focusing on what you're doing, so you're not just throwing shit around and hoping it works. If you're doing a bench, it's focusing on getting the stretch at the bottom, like Cameron was talking about, and moving the weight purposefully. I don't think you need all that extra volume.
So I'm interested to know at what point is there like the diminishing returns? Like at what point are we hitting the number of sets and reps where it's like you are no longer getting the maximal amount of returns?
So I think it's completely based on the individual. How well you can recover, your training age, your how much weight you're moving in general. If you're a 800-pound deadlifter, you're going to have different, MRVs than somebody who's doing 3 plates, But
I also feel like we're dipping into different mesocycle, different macro cycles right now. So like I want to stick with the realm of hypertrophy right now because
right. Oh no, I'm just saying. I mean, like you could do that either way though, because people who focus on hypertrophy can be benching 5 plates, but they're going to have more time to recover after a hard workout than somebody who's starting out and benching 135. Like, it's just harder on your body.
To kind of recap what the two of you were saying is you're getting more results from higher effort, smaller within the smaller volume.
Yeah, because you're able to. The lower volume means you can recover better, come back, push hard again. So a good analogy for it that I heard somebody make was comparing it to like trying to tan, and that if you wanted to tan and you were starting out very pale, probably go out in the sun for 15, maybe 30 minutes. If you went out for an hour and a half, you're going to burn. You're going to peel. You're going to be pale again. You'd rather go out for 15, 20, 30 minutes and then do it again in 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, but now with that logic, someone who is well trained in hypertrophy can be doing a lot more volume.
Well, that's where the intensity comes in. You're going to be doing more weight because you're more trained. So you're giving more, which technically I think that goes into volume. But I mean you're doing more weight, so that's how you account for that. And I think you can increase volume, but I don't think it needs to be as high as some of the workouts I see where people are doing 4, 5, 6 exercises on a muscle.
Right, especially for a chest day. Yeah. Because the chest is one of the smaller muscles, especially for Zucker.
I'm with you, Zucker. Don't worry.
So the chest, like there's only so many movements that you can do with it, which is why my hypertrophy chest day has pretty much looked the same. Like there's not much deviation from the bread and butter.
Yeah.
That I've been doing since 2010.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
But when it comes to leg days, it's like you can mix that up like crazy, and because you're dealing with these much larger muscle groups, there's a lot more volume that you could put into it before it's fully fatigued.
Yeah. I'd almost say I found the opposite. I find the exercises so fatiguing because they're so big and like heavy.
Now your energy system is going to be fatigued.
Yeah, your CNS
so
definitely high, but
correct. So not just the CNS, but I'm sure your cardio is shit.
oh, it's awful.
Someone who got as big as you got usually doesn't do a whole bunch of cardio on the way.
No, I did the math on that one day and went, this running's making me eat more. I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, so you do a set of 8 on squats where you get full range of motion. Your heart's beating out of your chest. You're like,
oh yeah,
maybe I need to start implementing some cardio.
No, I just take 5-minute rest breaks.
Right.
Yeah. Cardio is something that I always struggle with as well, just because I grew up playing sports, and so that was my cardio. You know, that's just what I did. I didn't have to think about running, and now that I'm over 30, now I have to think about, oh fuck, I actually have to like run because I can't just call up my friends to just play some pickup basketball, and so that's always something I struggle with, you know, personally with, because yeah, I was gonna say something, but you know, I'm not drunk enough for that, but
yeah. So
that's about the only.
I'm currently living the retired life where my physical activities are that of someone who has worked for 40 plus years and is now just, you know, doing whatever they want during the day. Where it's like, I'll go for a bike ride and then I'll go and play pickleball for a couple hours. So, dude, it's a good life.
You're so old.
But, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. No, but I think that, as Cam was saying earlier, I am someone who is also very goal oriented, and without sports, which is kind of also tying in with what you're saying, Joey, without sports, it is very difficult to get motivated to do something. And I think that I have to set up these mental like benchmarks for me to go ahead and try to achieve in order to get to the gym and do something. So it's like I need competition in my life, and a lot of times you end up competing with yourself, which, especially now that I have a gym in my garage, it's very hard for me to find motivation to get in my garage and work out by myself. So I think that I'm actively seeking other competitive sports in order to kind of get that edge going. And I honestly think that, Joey, that is something that you need to find is that competitive part of weightlifting, or that competitive part of doing anything that's physical, because knowing your mentality, that's what's going to give you that edge to go out and do something, is you need to compete. Yeah. So whether that be with a physical person or whether that be with yourself, or like you have to set something up in order for you to be like, I'm going to crush that.
Yeah. I mean, that was just me growing up. I love to beat people in anything. And so when you take sports away, where my whole point of sports was I like to relax, Cam. But I just, you know,
we're friends.
You know, we're fine. I'm past 30 now. I don't care about that anymore. But, you know, like you were saying, Kenny, it's all about finding the internal motivation and you know, the challenge to be better than you were yesterday. And that's something I still struggle with, just because like I enjoy shit talking and throwing it in someone's face if I win. And so, and in New York especially, like everyone's talking to themselves. Like I can't shit talk anyone if we're all just being lazy shits trying to be better, you know what I mean?
Well, unfortunately, it's so easy to now shit talk in video games with online gaming. So
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it's not like
you were-
Halo. Back in the day, that was when real shit talking happened.
the good old days is what we call that.
The good old days. These Gen Z kids don't know what it's like.
Yeah, I'll say on the goal thing, that's definitely helpful. Like, I feel like having friends around you who push you, and like even like meeting people in the gym. Like I remember when I started, I wanted to be bigger than Kenny, and then when I did that 6 months in, I was like, all right, you got to find someone else.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
You mean six months into my child being born, when I stopped working out completely. I stopped eating, I stopped sleeping, I stopped working out. My kid's gonna be 1 next week.
That's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah.
The fact
Yeah,
that you haven't broken it yet is fantastic. I'm really proud of you.
Broken it? What is the it that we're referring to?
Him, your child. He's still in
You
one.
called my child an it?
No, I mean maybe, but
Yeah, no, it's a miracle.
yeah, really happy.
It's a good
And
thing
that
Whitney-
His head is still round. It's the lot of goals are being met here.
off topic. I didn't know that was a thing that you could like change a baby's head if you don't like
Oh,
watch.
dude, they're malleable.
I did not
definitely,
know
dude.
that.
That's terrifying.
That is
Yeah, if
extremely
if they're
terrifying.
laying on their back too long, they'll get like a flat back of their head.
Yeah. I learned that when obviously my nephew was born and my sister was talking about that. I was like, wait, what? You can change it into like a cone head type of deal?
Yeah, I mean, so my kid was a C-section baby, so he came out with like already a round head, but like babies who have are vaginal birth will have like straight up like cone heads when they come out. So it like morphs when they're coming out, and then like eventually they'll get back to normal shape.
It hasn't happened to you yet, huh?
I'm still waiting.
Maybe we'll check back in at 40.
What, next year? Beat you to it.
Damn, you old bitch. Oh my god. All right. Cam,
Cam, are you the youngest one out of all of us, yet the most mature?
Jordan's the youngest.
I used to use Cameron's ID as my ID.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
Because I met Zucker when he was like 12
Yeah. 12 and a half.
in college.
Yeah. I'll never forget that day. I was with you and
Taylor.
and
I already know what you're going to say.
and I'm in the back of the car while they're going in to get liquor, and Taylor was like, "Are you coming?" And I was like, "No, I'll stay here." And he was like, and Taylor's an active cop at this point. It was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Well, I'm 18." And he was like, "What?"
Oh my
It's like, "Stay in the fucking car."
I believe you were 19 at the time.
No, I was 18 because I remember that I was almost 19. But I remember that it was like a hard.
You were
age,
18 and a half.
Yeah.
But that was also the same time I figured out how old you were.
Yeah.
Because, like I think that might have been the first time Taylor was hanging out with you, and I had hung out with you multiple times at that point, but I just thought you were older.
Yeah. People usually do. But yeah, that was a funny one.
It's actually funny. Taylor just texted me just now to see if he wanted to hang out tomorrow.
Oh,
Anyway,
that's funny. I was just texting him the other day about the wedding.
he texted. He's getting married. I'm just kidding. No, he
I was like,
texted.
Never
He
mind.
texted me. He's like, hey, are you doing a March Madness bracket? Like this is like 2 days ago. I was like, no, I don't really pay attention to college basketball. He's like, all right, well, in that case, I made you one, and so me and he literally made me a bracket and he's like, actively shit talking me that his bracket is doing better than mine.
The one that
I'm
he
like,
made.
the one that he made for me. And he's like, dude, I'm kicking your ass right now. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I have no idea. He showed it to me. He
needs competition. He's like all of us.
Yeah, he literally, like, on my bracket, he picked me to say that New Mexico was going to win it all. And I'm like, fuck off.
I still think Kentucky's going to take it.
Even though they just got their shit rocked by fucking G.I. Joe.
What?
Yeah. By Oakland.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Dude, that one dude went off.
Yeah.
Dude, I he's a great shooter, no doubt, but, like, I could not stop looking at his fucking hairline. It was
It's bad.
and unbelievable.
Did you see that statistic that he only dribbled 4 times in the game?
I thought it was 3.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Yeah.
He made 10
10
threes.
threes. Only
And
dribbled
3
4.
dribbles.
That is like the most
Insane.
efficient game I've
Yeah,
ever seen.
just fucking...
Like, oh, fuck this dribbling thing. I'm just gonna hoist it as soon as I grab it.
If you look at every single one of his shots, he was like sideways.
They were
Like,
so contested.
He was so contested,
Crazy,
and he was running like all his momentum was taking him this way, and he was just like
Yeah.
swish.
Yeah.
Absurd.
Like, yeah, it's like fucking Jokic. He'll shoot threes like...
Did you see his pass?
Yeah. Which
Which
one?
one?
His
Yeah,
no,
which one?
the most recent one. They're all ridiculous. The most recent one where he like fakes the dribble and then just behind his back like curves the bullet
I did see
to the
that.
guy right underneath the basket. Stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cam, I'm
He's
sure you
crazy.
don't watch TV
Yeah.
while you're
I-
eating your
I watch-
bagels.
I watch a ton of TV. I don't just stare at walls.
Oh yeah,
Clear that up.
that's why you don't sleep.
Right. I have not been watching the tournament at all.
Yeah, I haven't
I
watched
missed
the
those
tournament.
hours.
I just see highlights. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the problem with, like, social media now is my fucking attention span is completely zapped.
Yeah.
It's just like a whole basketball game. Like, fuck, just fucking call me when it's the fourth quarter. You know what I mean?
I knew I was getting bad when I would hit red lights and then go try to reach for my phone to watch TikToks.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh
it's
my
like I can't even
God.
sit at a red light and just be in my car. Like, I have to be like...
I know.
You belong to communist China now.
That's fine. They can have
They
it.
have all of your data.
It's all right. They already
Nothing
have all of
interesting.
our. They already have.
They're
all
gonna
of our-
have the front-facing camera on while you're doing things that you
Gonna
shouldn't
say.
be doing.
Half of my searches are, can I make beef jerky at home? How to make beef jerky.
They're just like, nah, we gotta get the fuck off of this guy. There's someone else we can monitor.
So because I live with a pregnant woman, she's very like
Wait,
type
live
A.
with or lived with?
currently live with.
A pregnant woman?
Yes,
His wife.
my wife.
She's pregnant?
Yes, I'm having another baby.
Oh, you
When
didn't
did
tell
you
him?
what?
Zucker just went through a whole range of emotions just then. He's like, wait, what?
He's like, either someone else is living with you guys, or you have something to tell me.
Yeah.
I don't think you told me that.
I'm having another boy.
Well, yeah, now I know. Asshole.
Well, you didn't know the gender.
Congratulations, you piece of
Thank
shit.
you. It took you long enough to say it. But anyway, since I now currently am living with a pregnant woman, she's very type A about like what she's allowed to eat, obviously, because there's a lot of restrictions. But the beef jerky has, like, the second you open it, it has to be refrigerated, which blows my mind, because isn't the point, like, the original purpose of like these dried smoked meats is so that they can be left
Shelf
in
stable.
like, what'd you say?
Shelf stable. Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But it says like on the bag it has to be refrigerated once it's open within 3 days or something like that. I don't know. But I'm like, I thought that like the purpose of drying and smoking the meat was what people would do back in the day in order to preserve it for long periods of time. So doesn't that
Look
like
into that.
defeat
I
the
didn't know that.
purpose.
I have a beef jerky question since we're on the topic. You know, this isn't really directed at Zucker because he openly loves beef jerky, but you know, for Kenny and Cam, if you're on a road trip and you're stopping off at a gas station to just get some Gatorades and some snacks,
Some bagels.
is it a party foul if someone buys some beef jerky and stinks up that whole fucking car?
See, here's my
That's-
thing. The party foul is the fact that you bought beef jerky at the gas station. Because holy shit, it's like $12 for 3 ounces.
Yeah, you get that Jack's Links. Yeah.
Yeah,
For
well, and
that
it's
teriyaki, yeah.
it's literally like a fourth of the size of the same price at any grocery store. So
Yeah, you're paying
Fuck
for
that.
air. Yeah.
plan ahead.
Yeah, I think absolutely it is a party foul. If you're on a road trip, you can't have any strongly scented things in that car.
Yeah, I lean with that.
That's like
Oh.
that's like heating up eggs or fish.
Get like
In
a
an office
warm
setting.
tuna melt.
Yeah, when we were working at Equinox, someone heated up fish in the back break room while Whitney was pregnant, and she came into the back like looking for blood.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
no, she was gonna take someone out.
Chill.
That's so interesting. What is your go for all you guys? What is your go-to road trip snack? I know.
I bet you Cam's is bagels.
Fuck, Kenny, come on. It's the reason why I asked that. I was setting that joke up. You piece of shit.
It's an alley-oop, baby.
All right, fine, fair enough. All right. Cam
I
Cam
am
has
a-
his bagel chips. It's okay.
My go-to is Reese's Fast Break.
What is that?
What's that?
Exactly.
A Reese's
So-
Fast Break?
First of all, it's Reese's.
Reese's.
Probably a candy from back in the 60s when Kenny was a kid.
We call that the good old days.
Back when they actually
So,
put Coke in
it's-
Coca-Cola.
It's a candy bar with a nougaty base to it, and then it's like layered peanut butter on top, encased in chocolate. So it's essentially just a Reese's bar, but like with nougat.
Interesting. I have to.
Delicious. So that, but if they ever have it, Nerds Rope. I love Nerds Rope.
Yeah, you love
I've heard you had a bad experience with Nerds Rope one time.
I don't want to talk about it.
What happened, Kenny? Did you lose the rope or something?
Well, this is a safe space, so story time.
Yeah, tell me, please.
I was fully anticipating this podcast to go way off the rails. So, I am at a, I'll call it a men's trip, where
Mention, what are y'all just fucking jerking each other off? Anyway, go ahead.
So we all rented this cabin, and we were going like whitewater rafting. We're going tubing and all that, and so it's a whole bunch of guys. We're out drinking, and someone comes by and is passing out Nerds Rope, and he's like breaking off pieces, and he's like, "Kenny, you want some?" I'm like, "Dude, I love Nerds Rope," and I take it and I eat the whole thing. And when I do that, the guy was like, "Oh, damn, man, that was a lot." And I was like, "Yeah, like what? That was kind of a weird,
What do you think? I'm gonna get a
weird
cavity?
reaction. That was a weird reaction to me eating Nerds Rope." And then some time passes. I'm like, "Yo, I feel weird, like not good." I was like, "I think I might be having an allergic reaction to something." And Taylor's there. Taylor's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "Dude, keep an eye on me because I feel like maybe my throat's closing up. I feel weird. I don't know what's going on." He was like, "Did you eat anything?" I was like, "Not that I can remember," because at this point I'm freaking out. Turns out that it's a THC Nerd Rope, and it was about 240 milligrams that I consumed, and I was like, "Is that a lot?" And the guy who was passing it out was like, "I mean, I take 60 and I get messed up." I was like, am I gonna die?
Kenny's
So I
about to
spent
watch
the next
himself
4 hours freaking out. Yeah, dude. So like, I understand like getting high is like one thing, but like not knowing you're getting high and then being like fully like on the spectrum of autism was not fun, dude.
Yeah. Oof.
Anyway, that was my experience.
I have a similar story that I won't be sharing, but that's just a fantastic. Remember that kid Worrell, Kenny? I don't know, Zucker, if you bet him. I remember once
Terrell?
Worrell with a W. If you're listening,
Oh
Worrell,
yes, Henry.
yeah. I remember
Yeah,
one time.
dude.
I remember one time we went to a house party, and he was sitting in a beanbag the entire time, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on, my guy?" And he's like, "Oh, just hanging out." And like 45 minutes went by, and he hasn't moved. And I went up to him, and I was like, "Yo, are you good? Like, you haven't moved since I got here." He's like, "I need your help." And I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, "I think I took a little bit too much of the weed brownie that was being passed around." And I was like, "Okay." He's like, "I need you to help me get to the bathroom." And I'm like, "All right." He's like, "But be careful." He's like, "I might have pissed myself." And I'm like, "Brother," I was like, "Well, here." I was like, "I'm not gonna help you up like standing this way because I'm gonna push you up because if you pee, the pee's gonna fall out towards the front of you, not towards."
I thought you were
me."
gonna say you did a Billy Madison. You pissed yourself next to him just so he wasn't alone.
No, I did not. No, I'm not as kind as that. But yeah, he's like, "I thought I only took a little bit, but I took a lot." And I was like, "Well, that's on you, my guy."
Yeah, but exactly. He did that to himself. I thought I was having a delicious candy treat. Meanwhile, I got a face fuck from God.
You thought the nerds betrayed you.
They did, dude. The nerds got extra nerdy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So my road trip snack is combos.
I completely forgot that's what we were talking about. Well, I like Ruffles. Holy shit. Sucker, that was perfect.
Well done. Well
Holy
done.
fuck.
We got so far on a tangent there.
I completely forgot I even asked that. I like Ruffles.
Cam?
Yeah.
No.
What do I do on a road trip? Gosh.
May or may not be laced with anything.
Yeah.
No, I prefer to drive sober.
Okay, fair enough.
It's my
Sounds
preference.
boring.
Yeah. Well, I get it from A to B. So.
Fair.
I usually don't eat anything on road trips. I usually just do an energy drink, and the carbonation holds me over.
Hey, Cam, do you do anything fun anymore?
Cam, are you Team Red Bull or Team Monster? What are we talking?
Rain.
I was about to say it's gotta be a third party. It's gotta be a choice saying this.
Yeah, they've got 300 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh,
Oh yeah, baby.
Yeah, Kenny's used to be the original Four Loko, so he knows what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's my favorite road trip drink too.
Oh my god.
All right, if the four of us were in a car,
Okay.
who would be the driver?
Not me.
Who would be the passenger? And who would be the two in the back?
In the
Joey would be in the back.
Yep.
I feel like Kenny would drive.
I feel like I would drive too, even though Cam is clearly the responsible adult of us. I feel like I'm still the driver.
Yeah, I mean, old people tend to want to drive, so.
Correct.
Let's go.
Correct. It's
Jordan
a
would
very
only drive
dad thing to
his
do.
car.
It is.
It is. Yeah, that's fair. But who's
I feel
controlling?
like, yeah.
Who's controlling?
I feel like
the
Cameron
music?
would be-
It can't-
Camera would be
So
a passenger.
your co-pilot has to be music, so DJ and directions.
Yeah.
Which, Cam, I don't know your taste in music, but I trust your sense of direction because I just
Mine's
feel like
off.
you're very put together.
Cam, you seem like the kind of guy that can look at the sun and like figure out if we're headed north or west. Is that true?
I was gonna say the constellations.
Yes, because there's two directions. There's one direction the sun goes, right? And so you just look.
See, even that answer was amazing. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, God.
I can actually see the way there.
There you go.
That's what Gandalf says, dude. Just when in doubt, follow your nose.
I thought that was Toucan Sam.
No, that's Kenny. Kenny's
Yeah,
Kenny.
but what came first, the chicken or the egg?
No.
It's a toucan.
Gandalf came first. Follow your nose.
Wow.
Jesus.
But anyway,
Shut
so what?
No,
Shout
nothing.
out
Go
what?
ahead. I wasn't going
I
to
think
shout
we-
anything out.
I think we spent about 15 minutes of this actually talking about working out.
Well, that's also the great thing about podcasts is you
Yeah.
can talk about whatever the hell you want,
It's true.
and I don't have to worry about tagging Cam in anything because he doesn't have any social media.
And same.
And
Oh.
Zucker also. Did
Cam,
you say LinkedIn?
Cam said OnlyFans.
Only. I would expect a better camera.
This is my work camera.
There you
Well,
go.
which work?
Yeah.
The OnlyFans doesn't work. He's just doing what he loves.
Well, you're right. All right, Joey. Prompt the next question, sir.
Okay, I shall. Okay. All right, Cam, this one is for you. As someone with a Master's of Physician Assistant Studies, how do you envision bridging the gap between traditional healthcare and preventative wellness practices through fitness and exercise interventions?
That was very from the heart, Joey.
Yep.
And clearly not read off a screen.
I saw that on the moment.
It is a good question.
Thank you. I came up with it.
Honestly, it's a lot of the reason that I went into hospital medicine was because of the state of our current medical system, where we kind of just put band-aids on issues. And
Ass, dude.
and in my experience, despite any provider's best efforts of lifestyle changes, it doesn't happen many times. So we learn in school, and all the studies point to lifestyle modification first before medication. However, those same studies look at getting people on medication earlier for something like diabetes. Right, they're even if they are to have lifestyle changes that reverse the effects of their diabetes and get their sugar under control, they're better off than the people that don't go on medication and try to do lifestyle changes on their own. So that said, a lot of times we throw medications at people because we don't want them to be sicker, and I don't know if there's no desire for the patients to get better in an outpatient setting, or if it's them saying like, oh, well, this Band-Aid fixed my issue, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. I don't know which one it is, but that was the reason I couldn't do outpatient medicine, because you're just dealing with sick people all day that aren't really willing to make any sort of meaningful change, because ultimately lifestyle changes are what is going to help people the most. I don't know. I don't know what the bridge is there. I think it's just probably starting with our education system and educating people on how to eat properly instead of having everybody getting their information off of the internet and going off of fad diets and people crash dieting, doing keto, saying like, oh, well, I did so good on keto, I lost 50 pounds. Great. You had a calorie restriction of, you were 1,500 calories underneath your expected expenditure. Like, what do you expect? It's nothing special about keto. And then they yo-yo and they get these bad outcomes after yo-yoing, or they do it once and they're like, it's good enough. So it just starts with educating people properly about nutrition, and there's a huge personal emphasis on health also. Like, I can give you all of the information, but unless you accept that and actually do something with it, then there's nothing that I can do to say or do to change what you're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of points I would love to touch on with what you were saying, because you made a lot of good points. Education is really what everything should stem from, because we've talked about this several times on the podcast before, but like, common sense isn't always that common. So especially someone who is so like in it when it comes to health and wellness and fitness, there's a lot of things that you talk about on the daily that you just think is known, and you think that, oh, everybody knows this. And then you have a conversation with someone and it's like, oh shoot, like maybe this isn't as well known as you think it is. So that's honestly the biggest reason that we are doing this podcast, and the reason that we have Joey as the host. So Joe is taking the role of someone that isn't like lost in the weeds, of someone that is fully immersed within the health and wellness and fitness fields. So he's able to kind of ask those questions coming from the average Joe position. And our job is to be able to explain something in order for Joey or the general population to understand. And I think that education is the big part of it. And there's a lot of misinformation out there with social media, because so many people are trying to just sell things for going viral. But I mean, you made a lot of good points, and I think that the biggest thing with preventative medicine is people need to have some sort of intrinsic motivation in order to start to move towards creating a change. And a lot of times, by the time they get to you, or by the time they get to any health professionals within like the hospital setting or the internal medicine setting, they are typically too far gone to the point where they need some sort of medication to kind of self-regulate and get them back. So my experience as a personal trainer is getting the population before they've gotten to that point where they're needing that medication. And it's like, hey, let's go ahead and put these habits in place where we can set you up so you don't have to see the doctor for all of these issues that come down the line. So it's finding that happy medium of where can we find that bridge that gap of where we want you to be and where you are. And a lot of times, especially as I worked in the clinical setting, we had people come in where it was kind of like, look, before we're even able to do surgery with you, we need you to lose some weight. We need you to stop smoking. We need you to get your diabetes in check. Like we need these numbers to be in the right place before we'll even do the surgery. And I understand your struggle, Cam, because it's like you really want to implement the move first, medication later, but you have this population where it's like they're never going to move willingly on their own unless there's a traumatic event that happens to them that's like it scares them to the point of, hey, I need to get my shit together. So a lot of times you need the medication in order to get them to comply with anything. So there's a lot of murky water. It's a very difficult gray area, but I see the struggle with that. I know that was very long-winded.
Perfect.
He wrote the question because he wanted to answer it.
Exactly.
No, that was all based off of what he was saying.
Oh my god.
I don't even remember what the question was.
Snacks in a car trip?
Yeah, snacks in a car trip.
Yeah. But no, that's
All right,
great.
Cameron, you have to head out.
Yeah, in like 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. So typically before our guests leave, I give them an opportunity to plug in whatever social media they have. Since you don't use social media, I want to give you some time to talk about anything that you would like to talk about, if there is anything that you would like to talk about.
Yeah, so I mean, we kind of talked about fitness a little bit, and I mean, Jordan and I's focus is mainly on hypertrophy or building muscle, right? But I think it's important to note that that's not what everybody should get into fitness for. It's just something that I strive for. I want to get as big as possible, but I think also having information out there for people to just move and just understand how their body works a little bit better is great. And a lot of the fitness space is hypertrophy or strength training or some sort of athletics, but I think there's this whole untapped market of just like really getting people to learn how to move functionally and hurt less on a day-to-day basis, and just generally feel better.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think that, and it comes back once again to social media. I think that it's messing with the psychology and the mental health of the general population, where so many people are so apprehensive to get into working out because they feel like there is a certain standard that they need to meet, when it's really just about getting moving. It's about getting proper movement. It's about, like you said, making sure that you're not constantly hurting. And yeah, you're right. It's a very large untapped population, and I think that it's important to start somewhere.
Very cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, Cam, if you need to hop off, you can go ahead and do that. We really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, of course. I had a great time. I appreciate the invite. I'll come back anytime.
Yeah, of course.
Anytime you want me.
Yeah, we would love to have you back.
All
Fantastic.
right, guys. I'll see you later.
See you.
All right, man. See it. Thank you.
Now we're stuck with this fuck.
Now that he's gone,
Oh, we're still
let's party.
We're still recording. Oh, let's go.
Yeah, no. So even though he's gone, I want to kind of touch on that a little bit more. So GPP, general physical preparedness, is what I highly recommend anyone who's still listening to the podcast an hour and 18 minutes into it.
Probably my
We can
girlfriend.
yeah, your girlfriend. We can hopefully clip this in, but GPP, general physical preparedness. Anyone who has either never worked out, taking a long hiatus from working out, or is transitioning into an off season, it is great for you.
You went like this.
Yeah. GPP is great for really putting the focus on the quality of the movements and getting the person who may not be moving often enough or at all, getting them into some sort of routine where they're able to get that blood flow. They're able to activate the muscles that they typically don't activate. They're able to activate the major movement patterns that they typically don't get to do during the day. And it's a great place to start, where if you're able to do a month of general prepared fitness or general physical preparedness, whatever the acronym is, you do about a month of that, and then you can transition into whatever your main focus is going to be. Typically, it'll be like muscular endurance, and then hypertrophy, and then strength, and then power, and that's the periodization progression that you want to go through. But starting with that general physical preparedness is a great place to just start, right?
To interject, I don't.
Not allowed.
I mean, I don't know about you. I don't know what that is. Is that like is that a publicly available like set of guidelines or what?
Yes, yeah. So I mean, you can Google very basic stuff, but to break it down, you have 7 major movements. You have your knee dominant movements like squats. You have your hip dominant movements like deadlifts or hip thrusts. You have your upper body. You have your vertical push, vertical pull, horizontal push, horizontal pull, and you have core. So that's your 7 movements, right? Okay. So it is getting your body used to those movements again. So it's a lot of neuromuscular re-education for someone that's just used to sitting in front of a computer typing all day, right? Yeah. So it's getting these movement patterns. You're neuromuscularly figuring out these movement patterns again, and the purpose of the movements isn't to get quality contraction like in hypertrophy. It isn't like central nervous system stimulus like it is with strength training. It's not about like getting your fast twitch like it is with power. It's literally just about that neuromuscular coordination. It is just about getting your body reacclimated to those movement patterns. Mm-hmm. And then once your body has that time period to figure out what the hell is going on, then you can get into something more focused like muscular endurance, and then hypertrophy, and then strength, and then you can go into whatever progression that you want to get into.
Right.
But if anyone who is getting started is looking for where the hell to start, and they've already started walking, they've already started doing these other simple aerobic things, if someone is looking to get started with some resistance training, GPP, general physical preparedness, is where they should start. A month of that, getting those movement patterns in, and then take off to whatever you want to do after that.
Wow. Cool. We should have let off with that.
Yeah.
Hopefully we can clip that and
yeah. See, I feel like that's something that Cameron probably could have talked to you more about, because I'm sure that he has more experience with that.
Yeah.
Because I mean that's not even something I've heard of.
Yeah. I mean, I think with Cameron, was Cameron ever a personal trainer?
Not as a professional.
Yeah, because I know he's certified in it, but I think when you get to the level of medicine that Cameron is in, sometimes you don't necessarily get into
the practical stuff.
More so like the he also did undergrad with phys ed, not phys ed, exercise physiology. Yeah. So he may know about that, but so my undergrad is like athletic training, and then going into like more of the medicine side. It wasn't until I started working as a personal trainer and started studying specifically within that realm, that I kind of came across these more I wouldn't call them niche, these more training related topics. That's when I started figuring that out. Because I feel like when you get into medicine, it's more
Mechanism
it's
and less practical stuff.
I would say it's more scientific as far as like physiology, anatomy, whereas yeah, I mean exercise science. I mean he was NASM certified, so maybe.
What does NASM stand for?
I think National Academy of Sports Medicine. No, that's not right. NASM. I would always just say NASM, and I forgot the actual National Academy of Sports Medicine. Yeah, I was right.
Oh, there you go. Trust in yourself,
Look at you.
baby. Let's go.
Yeah, I've heard thousands of acronyms in my life, and I remember like 3 of them. One of them being BM, which is bowel movement.
That's what I gotta
The
make right now.
importance, the essentials.
The important things.
Pop quiz,
Somebody
Kenny.
else?
What did B.O.B. stand for?
Say what?
B.O.B. The
Yeah,
rapper.
You know me.
What does B.O.B. stand for?
OPP. Bombs over Baghdad? I don't know.
I don't know either. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, Zucker.
Just Bob. No,
Just
nothing.
Bob.
I had nothing important to add.
Is that what it is? Bombs over Baghdad?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Because that's the Andre 3000. That's the Outkast song. Great song, by the way. Please tell me you guys know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, but
Bombs over Baghdad. Zucker?
oh, it is Bombs
Nope.
over Baghdad.
No way.
Is that what B.O.B. stands for?
Yeah, just googled
My
it.
third eye's wide open, dog. Come on.
What
that
about
your
your
butthole?
brown? What about your?
So now I actually know. I know 4 acronyms.
All right, boys.
Yeah.
I
I'm
got
craving
this.
some
What?
combos. Think I'm gonna go drop by the gas station.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Speaking of bombs, though, I actually do have to drop.
All right, maybe we end the podcast before we're talking about dropping
Oh,
bombs.
sorry.
Yeah.
All right, Zuck. Thank you for coming on, man.
Oh,
Thank
of
you.
course. Yeah.
Thank you,
Good
Zach.
talking to you guys. Yeah. All
We should
right.
do this
Wow.
more often.
We should.
I'm down. Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right.
Maybe we just talk off a podcast too,
Oh.
unfiltered.
Don't be ridiculous.
Unpaid? No.
All right.
All right. Well. Oh, wait. Are we done recording? Oh, I was going to say. It's like I don't have social media, but I run a Reddit page. It's called, Small Dicks Matter Too. So if anybody wants to go join. Yeah. 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 Don't front, Kenny. I saw your burner account on there. All right. Well, I mean, I don't think I have anything to do. I could, but oh wait, I don't do. Do what?